Janon and I started here in April of 2011, so I graduated in November 2012.
I'm Aimee, doing the Culinary Arts Management program. I'd always kind of wanted to do something with food. I thought that culinary school was a long shot situation, but you know, life has its turns, and I ended up in Portland. Well, it's kind of funny. I'm working at Whole Foods as a team member in the prepared food section, so I interact with customers all the time. But and I appreciate that actually Ray here and Chef Warner here helped me get that job. So above and beyond what I got here as an education, the resources that helped me beyond school made a huge difference for me. I'm also just finishing up a 12-week program called Getting Your Recipe to Market, which helps food entrepreneurs get started doing food retail and basically getting your recipe to market. And my business company is Components, which is on my shirt. And I have, you know, at the end of the day, like at this program, I have a product that I'm proud of, and I presented to 200 to 300 folks just this past Tuesday in a trade show and got amazing response. And you know, I have a business and it's fledgling, and I'm going to have to secure some financing, but I mean, I'm confident in what I did, and a lot of that has to come from what I learned here at school. So, you know, anything is possible, I guess, if you take some chances.
I did the Culinary Arts program as well, the diploma. I did the degree program. So happy I did. It was truly one of the best experiences of my whole life, one of the best decisions I've ever made. Right now, for a business, I work at New Seasons Market and the meat department. So one of the things I never knew I'd have a passion for was butchery. And I don't think a lot of culinary schools even touch on that, and if they do, it's a demonstration because they don't trust you with a fillet knife. And instead, you know, we actually got a chance to carve up not just chickens, but small birds and a variety of fish, and you know, you start that passion. I never thought I would even touch raw chicken, more or less, be, you know, under a minute I can slice and dice. So when I got on at New Seasons Market to kind of hone those skills, work on whole animal utilization, which is a big passion of mine. If you're going to use the animal, use as much of it as possible. Because my background, I'm from South Carolina, you know, home cooking Southern food. It's a lot of that comes from, you know, utilizing as much as possible. So what I've done, or what I'm doing now, is I started my own catering company. My husband and I are actually doing it together. So our sort of a dream realized. It's called Simmer Down Catering. He's from Louisiana, so we've got a lot of great Cajun recipes and family Southern recipes. But we do a little bit of everything. We've already had a wedding. We've got some great reviews on Yelp. And like you said, it's fledgling, but there's nothing in the world like doing what you're truly passionate about and doing what you're meant to do. So I'm excited. Couldn't be happier.
I'd always kind of wanted to do something with food. I thought that culinary school was a long shot situation, but you know, life has its turns. And I ended up in Portland, 2010, late 2010, and I was looking for like a regular 9-to-5 job. And I didn't really like what I was looking for, and I wasn't happy, and I actually wasn't getting any real leads. So my mom said, "What about culinary school?" And I said, "You really think so? I mean, it's kind of risky." But I came to visit here in October of 2010 before I moved here, and everyone was great. I mean, I think this first person I met was Chef Day, and he took me around. The classes were done, but he showed me through all the kitchens, and I met Chef Brophy. I didn't know who Chef Brophy was at the time, but you know, it was just an amazing reception, and everyone made me feel like this was the next best thing for me to be doing. So that's when I enrolled in the following, I think, summer term, started in July, and it was fantastic. I mean, I loved cooking, but I had no idea that it took so much in terms of food safety and just, you know, walking around with knives in a kitchen. I mean, just thinking more, not just so much about what you're making, but being safe in the kitchen and being thoughtful in the kitchen, being conscientious in the kitchen. Space is always limited. We're not in our homes, and the food, of course, is important. I learned some incredible techniques, and the basic foundation of what I'm doing now is because of the basic foundation of what I got at OCI.
I actually came kind of an odd road here. My husband and I, we'd always dreamed of owning our own restaurant. I think a lot of people do. It's every time you're out to dinner or sitting on the couch, kind of bummed with whatever your job is, you're thinking, what is it we really want to do? We dreamed of this restaurant and came up with sample menus, and but believe it or not, I was actually doing hotel sales and marketing in Las Vegas. So I was big power player, big corporate job, fancy desk, fancy business travel, all that stuff, and the kind of job a lot of people really want. And I couldn't help that sort of internal gnawing to say, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. Because at the end of the day, my favorite parts of doing big events, on the sales side for major hotels was picking the menus and deciding, what people are going to eat for dinner. So when we said crazy things happen and we found ourselves in Portland, Oregon, my husband did the same thing. He said, this is the time. When else in your life are you going to have this opportunity? I checked out every culinary school in the Portland area and talked to admissions, did tours. But the second I walked in OCI, I actually left here kind of tearing up because it was home. Everybody was genuine. They were real. From Anita in admissions talking to me like, not about how can we get you here, it's about how can we get you to where you want to be. And I was flabbergasted. So when I started here, it was tough starting school over again as a 30-something, but it was amazing. And like you said about the techniques that you learn, we all watch the Food Network. I think that was one of the things people come here and go, oh yeah, I love Rachel Ray or all these people. And we laugh about it now. Because now I can't even watch the Food Network because all they do is criticize them. Like, your technique, tuck your fingers. Or don't walk with your knife like that. But I still, that passion's just completely developed.
Yeah, she sent me information immediately, and we had a good conversation over the phone. But I was out of town. I wasn't here, so I had to coordinate getting a tour of the place. When I came, she walked me around, and like I said, Chef Day helped walk me around. I mean, it was not just this is the person who has to do this. I mean, everyone kind of participated and introduced me to the school. And I think, like we both said, it really made you feel like this is like a warmer place to be. Not just we want your money. We actually do care about you developing as a culinarian or food professional, and we want to walk you through those steps even from the beginning, all of us. So, I mean, that was my initial contact.
Some of the other schools, like I said, I checked them all out. I could tell the automated responses I got. Thank you for your inquiry. Please come by and visit our session. So, you go by and thank you for coming. What did you think? It was so form letter and, which is practical, but it wasn't what I was looking for. And first time I called, I got Anita, and so we came and sat down. And I was really trepidatious because it was an entire life change for me. And she just, she assured me that I wasn't the first one to ever do it, and that a lot of people were in the same boat, and walked me through the classrooms. I think that meant a lot too, is actually visiting the school during session, because we walked in the T1 kitchen and I saw Thompson, and they were doing their potato cut test.
Nice.
And
that should have had you run for the door.
I was a little nervous, but Thompson walks over to me and shows me the card. You get this little card when you begin, and it shows you all the different knife cuts, and you look at it and go, there is no way in hell I'm going to be able to do this, especially fine grain wall. It's impossible. But you're watching these T1 students, cautiously take care of this potato, and Thompson goes over and this is what they're doing, and they have 2 minutes. And I laughed, and he goes, trust me, it's about technique. You'll be able to do it. And it gave me that sense of confidence. Then we had lunch.
Was he right? Were you able to do it?
Yeah, I can rock a fine Brunoise. Yeah, nobody's business. But for lunchtime is actually the turning point for me because, I mean, the food was amazing. The open kitchen style, being able to see the cooks and go, wow, those are students. Mm-hmm. These are people that this is going to be me in just a few months. That was amazing. And then the servers, since we were in management, your servers are our students too. The poor girl, she was probably so annoyed because I just started asking her questions and she was genuine. She's like, what do you think? She was like me, older. It was obviously a second career for her. I said, what did you think and what did you do? And she was so vivacious about it. She was so passionate, and I could see that in everybody. There was a confidence being built. It wasn't about, when I had gone in another tour, everyone looked scared out of their pants. They were just a tent hut, and really here it was this huge sense of confidence that you could tell was being built and was being nurtured. So I left that lunch going, that's it, I'm done, I'm here. And Anita followed up with me in a very personal manner and said, is this right for you? Is this what you're looking for? And that was March, and I started in April. I came right away, I couldn't wait.
Do you feel like what you're doing now is a job, or do you feel like you're on a career path?
Oh, career, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, even if I just stuck with Whole Foods, I mean, I could definitely nurture a career there and maybe get into any number of aspects. If it's the kitchen, great. If it's buyer, if I hadn't graduated, gone to OCI and graduated with all the skills that you think you've forgotten, but they kind of peek up at you.
It scares you. How?
Yeah, I wouldn't have the confidence to have started, doing my own thing. And so everything builds on the previous thing, no doubt.
Going to a standard university and getting those, skills, and then being in the workforce, in the corporate workforce for a decade, I felt confident that, I was here to learn cooking. I was here to learn how to learn the skills of a chef. And when I decided to the server for my lunch was actually the one who convinced me to take the management courses. And I would be remiss if I didn't, because what they spoke to was, for me, I mean, I can see for retail being different, but for me, as a future business owner, it was specific to what I wanted. So instead of talking, corporate math, well, I've done corporate math, but talking corporate math specifically for a restaurant when you're doing staffing versus food cost versus, all of these variables, it opens your eyes to things that you don't see in other industries. So that was completely invaluable. So the management program versus just the degree program.
Right, I agree.
I
thought about doing the diploma also.
I thought, get in, get out, learn the skills. But I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed that I did the full diploma program. OCI is so integrated into Portland, and it's amazing the people that our people know, and
they have a great reputation. I mean, OCI has a great reputation.
Absolutely.
So capitalize on that by volunteering and making friends.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, you guys.
Sure.